I'm back. Thank you for tuning in to Grow Your Gifts. I'm all recalibrated, feeling good, feeling refreshed, and got some singing done, some dancing done, which I do normally anyway, but I definitely encourage that. Whatever your creative expression is, to carve out time for that. If you like to sing or dance or play an instrument or paint or draw, anything like that. It's beyond words. Whatever you enjoy, that creative expression really gets everything flowing and sometimes even releasing, which is really nice. So, feeling so nice and refreshed. Let's get back into it. So, today I'm gonna be talking about let go and make space for dot dot dot. So I just wanted to say from a woof, because I always think of something else. So from woofing, I did miss a little part that I wrote down on like this half page. That's my chicken scratch there. Code language, I can read it mostly. And of course I'm gonna miss this page because it's like a half page. So let's see, what did I say there? Yeah, I found it was really key, integral part of woofing for me personally to share gratitude, to focus on building bridges. You're not always going to get along, you're not always going to agree on things, but to remember what my original intention is. So I purposely, and I did this at other places I've worked and things like that. I kept gratitude cards with me, or thank you cards, and I shared my appreciation, my genuine appreciation for my time and experience with the hosts and their family and being on their land and all of that wonderful stuff. And I didn't actually foresee this, but later on, when I was applying for a new job back in Ontario, those relationships that I built, that I respected so deeply, they actually provided me with some work references. So that was an added bonus. I didn't see that coming. That was really nice. Very sweet. So thankful for that. You never know what kind of road your path is going to take you on. Yeah, and to clarify, I think it's also a good idea to clarify with the woofing host before you even go, like what to wear. Sometimes they have it listed, but sometimes they don't. Or even the day before for what you're going to be doing the next day, because just makes your job that much more easier and more comfortable. So for example, rain boots, crampons, which I didn't even know existed until I worked in New Brunswick for my nanny on a farm, and yeah, it was pretty snowy and icy, which I love, but they gave me crampons to wear over my boots, so they kind of like dig into the ice so you don't slip. It was so cool. I was like, what? Where has this miracle been my whole life? This is great. I wish I knew about these earlier, but I know about them now. Layers, mosquito net, that was really helpful, having a hat. So I even left, before I left for my woofing trip, I had a mosquito net thing that goes over any hat. And then later on my trip, I bought like an actual, it's like a dual sun hat and mosquito net in one, which is really nice because it was designed to kind of ventilate the heat as well. Bug spray, all natural bug spray, raincoat, splash pants, having your travel thermos or travel bottle because you gotta hydrate, right? So those are just a few examples of how to sort of prepare and clarify with who you're staying with and the kind of work you're doing, whatever comes to mind. And I think the other one I did cover in the previous video, just like about drawing appropriate boundaries. so they know what to expect and you feel comfortable, they feel comfortable. Yeah, I did cover this for sure. It's a tough conversation, but it gets easier, that type of thing. And just one more thing about Elsnore. So my last woofing placement in Elsnore, Ontario, one of my favorite things I did not go over was the way he did the groceries. So right off the bat, he's like, "Oh, you cook?" I was like, "Yeah." So, I told him all of my specialties, vegetarian shepherd's pie, dumplings, like all these different things. And I made him like a list of things that like I could make blindfolded with two hands tied behind my back. Like, I'm so good at it. Anyway, uh, I'm exaggerating, of course. And so he picked for that week, what he wanted for me to cook, and then I would write down what groceries I needed based on that list. And they were pretty simple, nothing fancy, nothing too expensive. I always kept that in mind as well. And it worked out great. So he would go to the grocery store and do all the shopping, and I would just help him put it away and stuff, and it was awesome. I felt spoiled. I was truly spoiled. It was really nice, actually. Only one time I had to go to the grocery store with him because he couldn't find the noodles I was looking for. And he was so happy when I found them and I showed them what they were, because they were only like $2-3. But when I cooked them, I made them like kind of like a Thai flavor. Those chow mein, eggless, 2-3 minute noodles. Oh my gosh, they're so inexpensive and so easy to cook. Yeah, that was a winner. Oh, the noodles. Really good. So now I'll get to my more legible and well-printed notes. I can print nicely too. Pretty good, I would say. But when I'm writing in a rush, it changes. So, let go and make space for ... So I'm really going to dive into this with, of course, my experience. It's my opinion. It's been my journey. And whatever you take from it, I'm hoping that maybe it's relatable or helpful in some way. And I've had a real problem with this in my early years, and it lasted for a long time, of just going through the sort of loop and feeling stuck, where I would clean, organize, and then it would blow up somehow, and then I would hide everything, just stuff it somewhere where no one could see it ever again. And I know that versus like, a natural cycle of, things tend to get messy sometimes, but then you organize it again. I was like, no, there's definitely a problem here. I'm stuck in some sort of loop. So I could tell from my own being honest with myself that no, there's definitely a big difference. And I'm so exhausted every time I have to clean and organize, because that's how much, I just let it sort of pile up. Of course, not in my professional settings. I was always organized and clean and everything at work, as was my pattern. But not at home. That was another story. And I did love bags. Bag lady. I think there's some Erykah Badu song or something. I did not sing that right, but you get the idea. That was my song for a while, because I had so many bags. Oh my gosh, I loved them. Purses, whatever you want to call them. Different types for different things. I almost loved shoes, almost, but my feet are so sensitive. I can't wear a lot of shoes, so it's all about comfort and practicality for me, even back then. So I did have a socks and pajama problem. So you're just being honest with myself, like a mountain of socks, and my clothes were mostly pajamas. You could tell I didn't really go out much, or I just have my going out outfits, 3 to 5 of them, and that's everything else was like pajamas. So yeah, it's definitely a problem for me when laundry time, and it just took me forever to put everything away. So let's see. My first major breakthrough came in my early 30s. Yes, my early 30s. Better late than never, though. That's what I say. And no, it sucked that it was going on like that for so long. It was really a struggle. It was really difficult time in my life to just keep having to go through that cycle of everything's piled up now. Oh my gosh, my friends are coming over soon. I better just stuff it all in this area, this closet or whatever. And then I forget about it. Not fun. Not fun at all. So I was very, very grateful to, be taught properly by someone close to me. And she taught me some very simple things that most people learn this when they're little. For many reasons I won't get into, I did not learn this. So it's kind of a two-parter. She taught me these two things together. So the first was, and you probably heard this before, but I didn't. It was brand new news to me. It became my mantra. And by now, if you see my videos, how I am. So I used it as a literal mantra, and I wrote it down everywhere on my mirror and my breakfast area, everywhere, and I just said it to myself over and over again, and then I put it into practice, and then I digested it, and I thought about it, and I contemplated it. Anyways, I'll get right into it. If I open it, close it. If I drop it, pick it up. If I make it dirty, clean it up. If I turn it on, turn it off. I'm not sure if that was the one she told me, or maybe she said if I move it, put it back. Both are good. And the last one that really, really made a huge impact on me, and still to this day, like, serves me and my life and supports everything, is send it home. Everything has a home. What? Okay, that was a really, really good one. For someone who was coming from such a organized chaos sort of lifestyle. So that's what I told myself, that this is organized chaos, and I could have mapped everything out. I knew exactly where it was, but I didn't. And if I looked at it honestly, it would still take me 15 minutes or whatever to move all that junk, find that thing I was looking for, that I kind of memorized where it was. But yeah, just kind of spending a lot of time remembering things that I don't have to if it was organized in the first place. I don't know if that makes sense, but once I changed my system, yeah, my mind was much more using that mental energy for other things. So, so for example, the second part of my major breakthrough back in my early 30s. So I had a walk-in closet. I mean, it was a small apartment, but I lucked out. It was actually a walk-in closet, like not a huge one, but you can take 2-3 steps in there. It was pretty nice, pretty lucky. And it was so sad, because most of the time I lived there, and I lived there for a long time, it was stuffed with hidden treasures. I had just thrown in there, and oh no, someone's coming over, and just put all my mess in there. Yeah, it was really sad, because it was a great space that I could have utilized in so many ways, right? So I was sad that that was the case, but I had to face reality. And again, the same woman gave me an exercise, and she literally taught me this exercise, and it was so impactful, and I've used this over and over again. It was like so helpful. So we're standing, with the walk-in closet, with the door closed, and I close my eyes, I visualize the space, and I'm walking up, opening the door, and then I say anything that comes to mind, whatever I envision, whatever I feel, whatever I see. There's no filter, just say whatever. If I could visualize this space, exactly how I want it, and just whatever I said, for example, I was like organized, light, airy, Martha Stewart. So I'm not even a fan of Martha Stewart, but that just came to mind, and like that, I didn't know how else to put it into words. So I just kept going and going and going, and she wrote it all down, my unfiltered vision. And then, later I sat with it for a while, and then I highlighted, like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 key words that stuck out to me, or phrases, and that's what I based my vision on. So that was the beginning. No looking back after that. That's helped me so much. It's still, it's a lot of work going through it. It doesn't happen overnight. It took me years and years and years of uh, organizing different spaces similar to the walk-in closet. And I would still do that same pattern, but it became less and less and less. And slowly, slowly, I got better and better at it. For me, never an overnight success. There's always heavy lifting involved. But hey, I do feel stronger because of it. So it's good. I got something going on here. I don't know. Okay, that's better. Yeah, so my second breakthrough, major breakthrough, well, I kind of had like warm-ups to the second major breakthrough because I came across this minimalism guy on this video, and basically my take on it, what I took away from that video was that like he kept a lot of his stuff in boxes for about 3 months, and if he didn't need it or if he didn't miss it, it was likely it was just taking up space in his environment. So yeah, what I decided to do, because I didn't want to go that extreme, but I decided to do it in like little pockets and areas of my personal environment, like the dishes. So I took most of my dishes out of the cupboards and I just kept what I know I would need. And life was so much easier. Like when I got busy and the dishes piled up, it was so much easier for me to just, do those few dishes. Like, and I kept them in my basement, so I didn't get rid of them or donate them yet or anything like that. I was just, let me see how my life is without all these dishes that I thought I needed. So yeah, that was one example of just kind of warming up to my second major breakthrough. So by now, I'm in my late 30s. The first one was like my early 30s, so this is like almost getting to 40 years old. Getting there. And this was before woofing. So I decided to do a major cleanse. And by that time, I'd already done clothes, exercise like multiple times, and I'm sure we've all heard this like a million times about, does this spark joy? Yes or no? And you have your piles, and if no, then thank you and goodbye and all of that good stuff. So I did that over and over with my clothes. So I was like, I'm ready to do the whole house, let's go. It was basically 20 years of stuff that I had been carrying around and moving with me from place to place. I didn't move that many times, but it was a lot to, that's what I realized when I was doing the process, that oh my gosh, I moved around for almost not as long as 20 years, but almost 20 years with all this stuff that was just basically stuff. So what I did, I stayed up for about 3-4 days. I had some sleep, but I was in go mode, like go, go, go. And I did the whole house. And it was basically things that I had been holding on to for way too long. And I filled the garage with things like old yearbooks, textbooks, tons of paperwork, birthday cards, accumulation of heavy things that I never look at and are not important to me. Like, that's what I realized. I had to be really straight up and honest with myself about, are birthday cards really important to me? I never even looked at it after my birthday, I put it in my sentimental pile area of the basement, but it wasn't really meaningful to me. To me, I remember the memories or the photos or different things like that, or a special gift that had a lot of thought behind it. So even my family knows, like, you don't need to get me a birthday card. If you do, I'll appreciate it. It's nice, but it's going into recycling in like a week or two, okay? Because ain't nobody got room for that anymore. No, you get to choose. You get to choose what's important to you and what's sentimental to you. And birthday cards did not make the cut for me. So Uh, there was a lot I had saved for like a long time. And then I filled my garage with all of that, and I called the junk removal service people, and they're like, "What? This is almost 20 years of stuff?" Because they do this for a living. They're like, "This looks like a year's worth of stuff from what we're used to." And I was like, oh, "Phew, I'm not as bad as I thought." For one thing, I had definitely blown it out of proportion in my head and my imagination. But at the same time, I was like, okay, let's be honest with myself. It's still a year's worth of from what they're used to, and that's a lot to be holding on to unnecessarily, that is serving no purpose, no function, you know. So it was such a huge weight just lifted off of me. um, it felt so good. So all of this, I feel like it's even deeper than just letting go and making space. It's a mindfulness practice. um, so many things are, but for me, that's how I really took it, and it really helped me just become more very clear and develop like a healthy relationship with my environment, I would say. So just some notes. Uh, yeah, there was this psychology thing I read somewhere where people generally see an empty space and eventually they fill it. So I was like, that's interesting. But I thought back to myself and like, I was like, yeah, wait a second. I did used to do that. I used to do that all the time. I can't believe I never really clicked with that. I was like, but I want to, test this out, for myself and see. Um, so in woofing, I wouldn't tell them, but I wanted to innocently run this experiment like a good scientist. And I would, I clean and organize and everything like they asked, but I purposely made space. And a corner where they usually just throw junk there, I made space. So anywhere where it felt like cluttered or whatever, I just made space. And almost every time, and I see it at quite a few different woofing places, they filled that space back up. It was like, whoa, this is crazy. So they were right, in a way. It doesn't apply all the time, but just generally, it was a complete rewiring and unraveling of my understanding of allowing and maintaining space and what that meant and why we do that as, people in general. So it's very interesting to just kind of sit with. And then I told them at the end, and some agreed, and they were like, right away, they were like, yeah, oh my gosh, I totally do that. Wow. That's so cool that you didn't, tell me, but like, you noticed that I was doing that. And it's like, yeah, I thought it was cool observation too. Some got mad, but not like at me for doing that. They got mad that, no, I don't do that. What are you talking about? And then I pointed it out and I said, well, you know, I cleared this area and now it's filled with stuff again. And they're like, no, it's not true. And then they went over there and walked over and they're like, wait, what? What? It's like they didn't want to believe it. They wanted to believe like, okay, no, I'm the master of my environment and I know, and they were pretty organized people. Those are the ones who were like, no, I don't do this. I was like, okay, then they're like, oh, they settled down. They're like, whoa, I didn't even notice that. So it's almost like second nature to just want to fill these empty spaces that we make. So it taught me to try, keep trying it out in my own personal life, and see how it feels and what happens. So if you want to as well, I encourage you to invite space if that's something that appeals to you. Another tip I came across, sorry, one sec. Yeah, is find a routine. Again, I read this somewhere, I don't know where, and have it at part at the end of your day. So it's an easy part. You slip it into your routine. Maybe, after dinner and you have your cup of tea and stuff, and then you go and you get your basket, big laundry basket or whatever basket you have that's easy to carry. and everything that's not in its home, that's not in its place, you just chuck it in that basket. And every night you do this, and then you send it home. You put it back in its place. It's like, okay, toy cars go over here, this goes over there, scarf goes there, that sort of thing. And it could have even been a workshop or something, because I think it was more geared towards parents and parents with children, especially young children. But if they're old enough, I would definitely engage the children in this sort of daily ritual as well. It really teaches them like life skills as well. And it's just I timed myself when I was doing this, because I don't ever encourage other people to do stuff that I don't try myself. So I was like, oh my gosh, that took 2 minutes. Oh my gosh, that took 12 minutes. Oh wow, that only took 10 minutes. Like sometimes it took me longer and sometimes not. I might have to go in the basement and find where did I put that special blanket or whatever in its special home, and then I would, so it takes longer sometimes, but sometimes it didn't. And the best part was, see how you feel when you wake up and you start your day with clear, open spaces. It's a total game changer, in my opinion. Yeah, and the other thing is, of course, someone helped me understand that it can be an inner reflection of your mind. So, of course, I'm going to talk about the inner and outer. It's very meaningful to me, and for me, it was 100% true. My first car was, where did I write it? Says somewhere. I don't know. Got the chicken scratch at the bottom of the page, but basically what I remember writing down is my first car was basically like my closet. So yeah, it was justifiable to me at the time, because I was like, oh, I'm being really practical and everything I need is right here. But no, it was a mess. It was a total mess. And I guess that's what a lot of people do, I hear, with their first car, so that's okay. But there's a big difference between, having it in bins or bags or organized in such a way that is not a mess and is easy to access. So basically, is it easy to vacuum? That's what I end up asking myself. So now I look at the trunk of my car and, I have my emergency overnight bag. I have my first aid kit or whatever I need, roadside emergency bag. And, I have my crate full of fluids with the oil and the windshield washer or whatever. So it's all just sitting in the back. I have lots of room for grocery bags or other things, whatever I need to put. And if I need to vacuum my trunk, not if, but when I need to vacuum my trunk, I can just pull all those things out. It takes me 5-10 seconds. So it's very easy. Vacuum, put it back. So back in its home. Huge night and day, complete difference, right? So just wanted to share that. That was really good. But yeah, we're talking about the inner reflection of the mind and how other little pockets of my area back then, before I was taught all of these really helpful life skills, was like my cupboards, my drawers, my backpack, my purse, everything was a mess. So when that person pointed out to me that your outer environment is a reflection of your mind, of course I fought it at first, but slowly things started to click. And I was like, whoa, that is really deep. And it was really helpful. So that was the biggest part of that, is that, yeah, once I started to tinker with my outer environment, my mind also became more clear and more spacious and more relaxed. And, I did so many other things, and meditation and so many other things. But I think that really helped and really supported and made like a huge difference for me. I do want to end this video with, let go was and can still be the hardest thing, like the hardest thing. I mean, yeah, I loved my purses and my pajamas and my socks, but I was never a shopping addict. And I really empathize with people who have a shopping addiction. It's an addiction. It's not, you're not in control, and it's not fun. I mean, it can be fun, but no, seriously, it's, whenever you have an addiction, and it's, so many people suffer with a real addiction when it comes to shopping, whatever it may be. I've dabbled in it, but I can say I don't know anything what that's actually like. So I do feel for you though. It's, yeah, let go is like the hardest thing. Personally, I love beauty. I love creativity in clothes and accessories. I love practical. I love seasonal. There's just no end in justifying why I need this. I need it. But, you know, what helped me, and this is just a few overall things that helped me the most in terms of letting go. So one is the gratitude attitude, which I've talked about a lot, a lot. Remembering being poor, and there was positives and negatives to that. I won't go into the details of the negatives. I've worked through that and let go of all that. But the positives is that I can get by with less, or I can get by with way less than I thought I could. So I have that real life experience of I only really need this much. Everything else is just icing on the cake, basically. What else helped me with letting go is approaching with logic, like out of sight. Did I miss it? Really? Did I miss it? Being really honest with myself and logical, because that is way too many socks, girl. So when I put all those socks away, and how many pairs of socks do I really need? That's another logical question. And what kind of socks? So when I got super clear about that, now I'm really happy with my sock game, because I have, for different seasons and different activities, what I feel is like the right amount of socks, and very practical, and again, just like very grateful for having those options and having that available, instead of just black men's or boys socks or whatever it is that I grew up with. Hey, they worked, all right. Might have left lines on my legs. They were too tight, but they worked. Yeah, what else helped me was approaching with loving detachment. Like, clothes come and clothes go, and sales come and sales go, and I can't take my favorite clothes with me to the next realm after I pass. I mean, that's going a little far, but it's true. This is the material world, and I'm a material girl. So it became like a very deep letting go. And these are just tools and clothes. I'm talking about clothes, accessories, because that was the biggest thing for me. So it's just starting to see them more as tools and basic necessities, food, shelter, clothing, all of that stuff, roof over your head, like hugs, no, just kidding. But, social interaction, all that stuff. So basic necessities, and, maybe something pretty here and there. But I choose to focus on experiences rather than things. So that's something I do have to keep reminding myself with, but that is the essence. That is where I'm at now in my journey. And it's, a constant process of, sometimes you just found the capsule wardrobe and you found everything perfect, but then for some reason or another, you're like, I need to minimize my life. I don't know what the word is, minimalist person in some areas. And you're just like, it's just too much, even though it's my capsule wardrobe, my forever clothes. forever in this human planet. But yeah, it's still a work in progress as always. That's the game, that's the fun. I hope this helped, and I wish you well.